Namaste and welcome. This is Shantal from She Achieves Studio, offering space to receive, to listen, to settle within the stillness inside and around, if only for 30 minutes. Today, we are offering the Tarot Transmission Day 2. We had our first transmission yesterday, which the replay in audio on Spotify and on YouTube is available on sheachievesstudio.com, as well as this episode. And tomorrow, under the winter solstice, will be our final tarot transmission until further notice. So I've already called in sacred space. Namaste and welcome for all of you who are sharing this space. I'm going to get this organized. Beautiful. And when you're watching, whether it's replay or live, feel free to comment. Let me know you're watching. Let me know what resonates. Let's share this space. So I've already called in sacred space. We always, well, I always call in sacred space before any sessions, whether they're online or in the studio here in Fort McMurray, because there's a lot of energy floating out there if you haven't noticed. And this is your energy, not theirs. So we protect so we no longer have to defend. So when we're protecting, we protect from the inside out. Whatever we see outside of ourselves has already begun and is already within us before. So we connect with that inner part of ourselves, our body, our mind, our soul. We create a greater whole based on cohesion, strength, stillness, light, and love. So then that energy radiates out. And that's what we're putting out in the world. And remember, the universe doesn't give us what we want. No way. It only mirrors back to us where we are. And we dive into tarot to rise above the beliefs, to rise above the projections, to rise above the behavior patterns, conscious, unconscious, subconscious, so we can expand into that greater whole. Okay, so we are going to start. Oh, I'm so excited. All right. Let's take a few deep breaths together if you like, whether you're standing, seated, kneeling, or lying. Soften the jaw, feel the tongue. Notice your presence, notice your space. Okay, apparently we're starting like we did yesterday with the Wild Unknown Tarot. And these are all tarot decks that I have here. So if yesterday we came into the Wheel of Fortune for air element, the Page of Swords for fire element, and the moon, because it was a new moon yesterday, so the moon wanted to show up. That was actually a jumping card. And the moon to help embody and integrate in our lives. Remember, when we're talking about integration and embodiment, it is taking thought into action, into a physical integration and live human experience. So we can spend all the time we want up in the universe. However, because we are human beings, how do we bring all of that universal energy back down so we can live what we learn? We can live what we hear. Okay. And that was the moon. So now coming off of that, so if we recognized that we have the ability to be in relationship with negative emotions and heavy emotions, and the moon's flow reminds us that we can ebb and flow through those emotions. Okay, so what happens when, just one second here, what happens, how can we get guidance today through air, fire, and earth? guiding us, there we go, guiding us into the winter solstice. So we're in between. Today is an in between day. We've had the new moon, we have the winter solstice coming up. So what's in the middle? We're sort of neither here nor there. We're working towards the end of the year. Oh, okay. Again, what is necessary? What's unnecessary? Today's transmission is going to guide us into areas that we may not be conscious of that require closing, that require a finish, an ending. So then there's space so we can evolve whatever that experience or situation was with a person, place, or thing, we can evolve it. So we need a certain amount of space. So, how can we close the past year, give it some type of an ending so we can evolve it? If something keeps being, let's say, stagnant through ourselves or our lives, like a cycle that we find that we're repeating. We attract the same people. We seem to be having the same conversations with others, with ourselves. How do we find space to evolve? And we do that by exactly creating space. And air is space. And that is what the tarot is going to guide us into. What can we bring an ending? It says I'm offline, so I'm not sure. There we go. Whoop, it's restored. So, what can we bring an ending to create a greater space, to create greater choices, so we're not running off of the same energy? There we go. In 2026 that we were running off of in 2025. So, yeah, sometimes we need permission. Remember, the nervous system also needs evidence to be able to shift, to be able to change, or else we're running off of the same habits and behaviors that may not necessarily serve us. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. Ooh, love it. The Eight of Cups. So, water element as well. And air and water create a little bit more spaciousness. Air moves water, and water takes the path of least resistance. Water is also can become very stagnant and toxic if it doesn't move, just like anything. And remember, water element relates to emotions, sacral chakra, svadhisthana, emotions, pleasure, sensuality, the je ne sais quoi of life, having fun, having joy, dancing, feeling sexy, feeling the petal, that beautiful flower petal on your nose, tasting the sweetness of the strawberry. And fun fact here, kids, the sacral chakra is actually connected to the throat chakra, the Vishuddha, because they both encourage self expression. This is where we communicate. Well, we also communicate through the sacral chakra. Oh, kind of cool. And of course, anything that I talk about, if it sparks some curiosity and you'd like to know more, please contact me from sheachievesstudio.com on the contact form. Go ahead. I'm here to spiritually educate the world to create a greater whole within, which ultimately creates a greater whole around. The Eight of Cups, ready? Stagnation, ill health, which we just talked about. If emotions and even water become stagnant, stagnation, it's right there. They can become toxic, which further can lead us into ill health. So remember, whatever manifests outside is already starting within. That's why we work with the nervous system. That's why we work with breath work. That's why we work with yoga, so we can tolerate and endure to observe what's happening inside, to create greater space, to move any congestion that may be there. And specifically for women in midlife and menopause and perimenopause, and even more specifically for the last year. If you're carrying burdens from 2025 into 2026, what do you think is going to happen? So, how can we create space? Well, let's hear what this says about the water element mixed with air element. The Eight of Cups sends an urgent message to pack your bags and move on. That's exactly what we're doing. We're coming down to the end of 2025 into 2026. So, yeah, we are all actually moving energetically, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually into a brand new year. There is no hope of rekindling what's been lost. Ooh, I absolutely love this. The past is the past. Nothing we can do can change the past except our perception. So that is why there's so much power in the present moment for us to gather all of our findings and teach them to come from a space of power within versus power over or power under. You must start anew. And it takes, my friends, my soul friends, it takes one step. It takes one step to move into a different direction. Mm. This card also points to phases of illness and physical stagnation. So move your body. Move your body. It's interesting because some of the lovelies that come into the studio, we're practicing a lot more somatic movement. And you know what? It's literally 6 or 7 minutes, maybe not even that. It's not a whole hour of an intense performance of practicing yoga or fitness. We intuitively listen to what the physical body is asking for and we give it what it needs within a few minutes. So if you're thinking that you have to have this big performance of working out or a yoga practice, I'm giving you permission to see if you can take a step in a different direction and come from a place of, I'm just going to move in bed. I'm going to stretch in bed. While the car's warming up, I'm going to lay on the living room floor and do some cat and cow or a few push ups, whatever it is, or whatever is stopping you from moving your physical body. Be in relationship with that if you can. And if you're not able to, if you have unanswered questions as to why, what, when, where, how, then connect with me. I'm here to help further support so you can integrate whatever we're talking about into your life. So move your body. Move your body. The message could not be more clear. Sounds like there's a bit of urgency. Yeah, here. Ba, 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 ba. Nothing good remains for you here. Lift your eyes to the horizon and let your feet lead you forward. I love it. Does that, well, I don't know. I think that sounds really cool. And sometimes when we have a message like this in a tarot reading, sometimes, we might get kind of freaked out about it. And it's like, no, it's asking you for due diligence, to pay attention, to step up and see what is fact, what is truth, and what is emotion versus getting the facts, the truths, and emotions all mixed up. Okay, so it's calling for our attention, and we get to decide. You get to decide whether to listen, whether to step in or step out. And remember, all of these tarot transmissions, we don't necessarily have to go to the top of the mountain, to the biggest obstacle, the biggest toxicity we're noticing in ourselves or in our lives. Start small. We call this titration. I talked about it yesterday. So you can access the replay if you want a little bit more understanding of it on, again, sheachievestudio.com, or again, contact me. Okay, so there we go. Move your body. The past is done. gather your resources so you have more power in the present moment, so we can go look into the past with a higher consciousness, without the wounds being so open, without the suffering, without so much pain blocking our eyes. And again, it's not about getting rid of anything, it's about evolving. All right. Oh, there we go. Yay. Finally. I've had this deck for a while and it finally called to me the Animist Tarot, which is beautiful. So, animism is a ritual, a belief of shamanic practices where we see in life all things having a spirit, whether they're inanimate objects or animals, bugs, um, people, humans. We all have a spirit. We all have that energy. So, this is what we're diving into today. So, let's go back, recap. We want air and water to move. We want the air to move the water. We don't want the air to get stuck in the water because then it gets bubbles like when we have gas. We don't want energetic gas. I don't know. Can anyone ever like comment? Let me know if you've ever experienced energetic gas because we can be emotionally constipated. Ooh, and it's maybe it can be the same, less or more. I don't know what your situation is, but it can take up a lot of space if we're energetically constipated. Imagine having emotional gas or energetic gas. Oh yeah, I love it. Okay, so we're asking, so how do we move? This is fire element that we're connecting into. How do we move? There we go. Two jumping cards. All right. How do we move the energetic and emotional gas and constipation through our physical bodies? And two jumping cards came up, death and ace of swords. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Now, the death card, the disaster mind might right away go to death. Ah, I'm so scared of it. Well, that's a whole other conversation that we can have at a later date about really what death is. So, and really a lot of people, it's their truth. You're the only one who can decide what is true for you. The universal truth is we all have death. That death, and it's not a personal subjective truth, it's a universal truth. We all have we all will experience death in this lifetime. That is a universal truth. Now, death brings up a lot of emotions. Absolutely, I understand that. And in our reading today, it is feeding off of the Eight of Cups, stagnation. Give it an ending. So there's a new beginning in the Ace of Swords. So let's read. I want to see Two of Swords. So there's the, oh, 130. Okay, 1 second here. Pentacles. Yeah, my book fell apart. So, boop, boop, boo. I'm just looking here. Let's start with death. So, in the meantime, take a few breaths, soften the jaw, feel the tongue, and yeah, there we go. Okay. Death. So, it's really giving us a little bit more information that stagnation can become toxic, whether it's physical, emotional, energetic, mental, spiritual. So, the death reminds us, of course, it's about endings, release, transformation. Death is what makes life so precious. Mm. Our experience is transient and nothing lasts forever. Nothing is permanent. Absolutely nothing. Even the universe is eating itself. Mind you, at a very slow rate, billions, trillions of years for sure. But there's always this movement of life. and death. Okay. Um, so when we start to attach ourselves to expectation, entitlement, it can give us toxicity. So life is impossible without death. Exactly. These are the polarities. Oh, I would love to be here for a while and educate you on the ancient philosophies of death and life and attachment. Definitely, but this is not the time. So life is impossible without death. It's part of the polarities. And although it is painful, endings make for new growth. Things must die. They must. It is universal truth. Okay? It is only our attachments, which we call the kleshas in yoga, in Guna Yoga School. It's only our attachments that hold us on and keep us captive. So the sooner you embrace the death you are going through, the easier it will be. I'm not sure if I believe it is easy at all, but what it does is it gives you permission again to create a greater space around you so that toxic water element from the Eight of Cups can actually move and cleanse. Growth is built upon the compost of the past. A dead tree becomes home to new life. Animals find shelter. Nutrients make their way back into the soil. And light filters through the canopy onto the forest floor. Accepting death means stepping into the cycle of decay and rebirth. Death promises change and transformation, but first, a part of you must die. Exactly. So, in one of the um, trauma and somatic trainings that I've taken, um, they reminded us that before a part of the spirit can emerge, a part of the spirit must die. And we know the spirit is the essence of the soul. It's like the soul's the perfume and the essence is the scent. It's like this incense. The incense itself is the soul, and the smoke and the heat from it is the essence of it, which is the spirit. So this gives you, wow, this gives you some really good context. Let's see what happens after death. And well, that's the Ace of Swords. And we know that the Ace of Swords is all about like it's single, it's one. Okay, it's like the root chakra. The root chakra is all about me, my survival. It's all about you. The root chakra is singular. It is about your survival. It is the single seed. Okay, so the Ace of Swords brings us into, there we go, pursuit, clarity, and honesty. The Ace of Swords heralds a new beginning in the realm of intellect, communication, and learning. Okay, do you pick up what I'm laying down, everyone? We started with the Ace of Cups saying, I'm telling you, the universe is telling you, hey, figure out what's toxic, and it doesn't have to be the top of the mountain, and do something about it. Death is giving us permission to let some of that go. Let it start to decompose so you have space to move into the Ace of Swords. As you step into your intellectual power with renewed logic and precision, remember to create an actionable plan to bring your energy down to earth. So that leads us into our final card, which represents earth element. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Wait a minute. No, the Portent Tarot. Ooh, coming at us loud and clear. The Portent Tarot is an amazing tarot deck. Very simple, straight to the point, which I like. Lots of information this morning. So remember, check out, I'll post it on Spotify, on She Achieves Studio Spotify channel. And check out, it'll be under the artist's pick. And then you click down to the artist pick and see all of them. And that's where this episode will be for you, and also on YouTube. Okay, so we have the earth element. Oh, are you? Okay. can I please tell you? Can I invite you into a little bit of a higher consciousness here? The universe, we often go into yoga. Okay. We often go into yoga. I've been practicing and teaching yoga for decades. Have a yoga studio, yoga teacher training, yoga everywhere. And I found that we often take yoga very seriously. I've seen people go into a yoga studio and they're all serious because they have to be quiet. And I'm going to say right from the horse's mouth, I've trained and been taught and held space with many gurus, and they all come back to to don't take it so seriously. Okay, remember our place in the universe. The ego wants to take everything seriously and make it all about us as much as it's everything about us that has nothing to do with us. So we're giving permission here to lighten the load a bit, not take things so seriously. Okay, guess what? You want to see the next card that jumped out? Death. We have two death cards. I love it. I love it. Do you do you see what's going on here? Today the universe is grabbing our attention. The urgency of toxicity. Whatever has been toxic, figure it out. Okay? Number 2, the death card. Let the death crumble away so you have the pivot point of the freedom in the Ace of Swords and bringing it back into our body physically. What can you let go of? What can you let go of? Do you really need dot, dot, dot? I'm not going to coerce you into figuring it out. I feel you will already know if you come from heart space what physically can die and be gone so you can create space within your physical body somatically to move through something. And I am not going to guide you or coach you through this. That is a space for you to sit into Heart Center. What I can do is offer you an online, personal one on one tarot transmission if you like. But you got to reach out to me. Okay. I'm always here. I'm always in it, people. I don't get out of this soul level. It follows me wherever I go. So you get to choose to step in or step out. Finally, to conclude, beginnings, cycles, release, transformation, transition. That is going to lead us into creating space for that Ace of Swords. Now remember, transitions can be messy, they can be stinky, they can be smooth, they can be sweet, they can be sour. And a transition, whatever you want to see out in the world, begins with you. So it's not about the other person. It's not. That is only our perception, and our perceptions are based on our beliefs, on the projections of others, on our behavior patterns, subconsciously, consciously, and unconsciously. So I'm going to leave you with that. Yes, this is a lot to unpack. Go sit with the replays. I invite you, they're there for you. Journal with them, bring them into your real life tangibly so all of this just doesn't stay up in the ether. You're able to bring it down, digest it, bring death, process it into something greater, bigger, and lighter that feeds your soul and spirit physically, emotionally, energetically, mentally, and spiritually. And together, my friends, breathe in through the nose, navel, heart, third eye. Open mouth, gentle sigh. Ah. And we thank the sacred spirits of the southwest, northeast, Mother Earth, and Father Sky, and all that lies in between, above, below, and around. We are truly humbled. And through all of this transmission, remember to find the humor in the life and soul. The work here is now done. The work here is now done. The work here is now done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Aho. Peace and love. Comment. Let me know how it's shaken for you. I will be here with the universe under the winter solstice, and maybe not. No, I'm not even going to bring that into the reality. I'll see you here tomorrow online. Peace and love.